If you've ever had a gas blowback rifle fail on you because you didn't clean it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, guys. Today, I'm going to show you how to clean a gas rifle as well as a gas pistol. And we're just going to get straight into it. So basically, you only need a couple of things. You need some tissues, happy tissues, a cloth or a paper towel, a cleaning rod, some silicone oil, and some silicone grease. And that's basically it, and patience and will to live. So I'm going to start here with our XM4 GBBR. And the first thing we're going to do is take out the magazine, Ian McCullen from Forgotten Weapons, and take off anything that is in the way. So I'm going to get rid of this tie. I just ended up, I shot like maybe 1,000 rounds through this last night. I just got this fresh from a game, and we just haven't cleaned it yet. So this is gonna need a lot of cleaning, but usually Tokyo Maruis don't need that much cleaning to begin with. So once you get all the obstructions out of the way, you're going to take apart the receiver. So you're gonna body pin like this. It is self-retaining, so it won't come out like that. And what you can do, you can also take off the upper if you want. You don't necessarily have to, but I'm gonna do it for the sake of the video show. After that, you're gonna take out the bolt carrier group, and basically you have your two airsoft toy pieces together. So first thing I'm gonna do is probably clean the bolt. Actually, let's start with the barrel. So you're just gonna get a little bit of a tissue paper like this, not too thick, because if it's too thick, it won't go through the barrel. And the important part is to make sure when you're sticking it in through here, that it's nice and a little chunky, so you can actually pick up some dirt. You're probably gonna do a couple passes. Now, when you're going through the barrel, you're gonna do like a twisting motion, and you gotta be careful not to hit the barrel, the hop unit, especially if it's engaged. You can also disengage it, but I don't want to reset my hop, so I'm gonna go very gently while twisting, very gently until I feel the hop unit. I can feel the hop rubber coming in. And right here. So you gotta be very, very gentle around the hop. Twisting motion, and you should be able to pick up some dirt. So you got a little dirt here. And you'll basically do that a couple times. I'm not gonna do that for this video, but you basically do that a couple times until your barrel is basically clean, and you'll be good to go. Just be very careful around the hop rubber if you decide to not disengage it. For me, I like to keep that set up. So just be very careful around that, or you might damage it. So after you finish the upper, you're gonna move on to your bolt. So your bolt is probably the most dirty. So if I were to touch this, it's covered in this black little grease, which is like a little piece of shaved metal. So you're just gonna wipe it down with a cloth, paper towel I like to use. Make sure it's nice and clean. Now, the important part about cleaning your rifles or anything is that they won't function optimally if you don't clean them. You might find that your slide will start to be sluggish, or you might get more jams here and there. You might get performance issues. And that's because your rifle is either damaged or it's not clean. And sometimes you think it's clean, but it's actually not in reality. So as you can see here, it's a lot of dirt in it. So you also want to clean that nozzle a little bit, kind of give it a fresh coat of clean, right? So once that's clean, you're basically gonna look at and inspect it and be like, okay, bet, it seems okay to me. And you can see that there are these little metal parts that have been worn, and these are the points of contact. So these are the points that you really want it to be lubed up. So you get your silicone grease, and you're just gonna get a little bit of a little dab on there, just a little bit extra, so you can actually dab it on and dab it onto those spots with a little finger grease, so that these parts that are actually moving along the airsoft toy are nice and lubed up. Now, fair warning, if you put too much lube around the whole thing, you might be tempted to just lube up the entire airsoft toy gun part. You actually start attracting dust, and you start attracting different kinds of dirt and stuff that will stick onto it, so you can't overlube too much. But in my experience, I've never really had an issue with that. I usually use gas guns indoors, so I don't really have the issue, so I kind of get generous with the lube. Next part is the nozzle. So what I'll do is I'll get my silicone spray like this, and I will drop it. Ooh, that was close. I'll get the silicone spray and I will basically keep this clean for you guys. Open it up and I'll spray the little inside reciprocating part. So this way it's nice and clean like this, okay? Won't spray the actual nozzle itself, but just the parts that move. Because you don't want to get silicone on the BBs, because then you'll start slipping around. So you just gotta kind of be careful around that. So any point of contact basically on the bolt carrier, you want to make sure they are nice and lubed up. Now the charging handle, you don't really need to do, but some people do anyway. So just kind of give it a young rub. Rub one out there. Any point of metal contact, again, you can just kind of make it a little bit smoother for the charging handle. You know, the parts that you actually, you know, pull, you can just like this. See again, all these little worn parts like this. You can kind of give it a young rub. Then you're gonna go, I like to do is go inside the receiver, give it a young wipe down, because the bolt is moving along this receiver. You can see this dirt, right? So the receiver can get a little bit of some love, get some rubs like this, the hop. Well, I just adjusted my hop by accident. I gotta have to do that again now. Oh well. So anyways, do that around the chamber. You know, don't spray silicone in the chamber, because then your hop will get slippery. Then you have to shoot 10,000 shots just to get it normal again. Be careful not to cut yourself. Make sure this area is free of debris and all that stuff. And you can see after you clean it that it was actually quite dirty. It didn't even look that dirty, as you can see. So now that part's clean-ish, you can put the bolt carrier back in later. So I like to move on to the trigger group. So the trigger group here, give it a young wipe down on the Z plate as well for this particular model. You also do the mag well. Not absolutely necessary, but do the mag well, the trigger group. And you can see there's a lot of dirt on there too. So this one, I like to just give a little spray into the trigger group like that. And you get, again, you have your Z plate. Look for any of those parts that actually have wear and tear, because those are the parts that make contact, right? And you should be pretty good to go from there. Also, there's a good time to inspect and make sure that everything's working properly, and it looks like it's good to go. Next is an optional part. You can take out the buffer if you want, and also give this a young rub. It's not necessary, but some people do it. Keep it nice and lubed up. So this one, plastic, you know, I'll just give it a little bit of a gentle spray so that it's moving nice and smooth. You could also spray the spring, but not gonna do that today. Okay, so that's basically it for that. So what you'll do, very important, is you put the bolt carrier back in first before putting the receiver on. Because if you don't, your buffer tube, your buffer will fly into the receiver and you'll have to take it out, and it's really annoying to do that. So what you can do is you put the bolt carrier in with the charging handle. It's very easy, forgotten weapons, just like this, and you just go in like this. Okay, so you could also smack the receiver down, but I like to put my finger nice and gentle, and that's it. Rack it like that. Check it. I like to do the little military thing and just spray the bolt a little bit like this. Let it kind of go through, slide, and make sure that's good. The next thing you'll do is make sure your magazine is empty. But what you can do to maintain the mag is throw a little silicone spray inside the gasket here. Also on the valve. Just a little tiny bit in the valve. And then that is basically it. You could also do some on the actual point there. Just a little bit of maintenance on there. And what you're gonna do, make sure it's empty. Chamber is empty. We did clean the barrel. And you're gonna run some gas through it just to make sure that it can get some gas through the system. So, and that's it. And now my gas rifle is nice and maintained, and I would wrap this up and be ready from there. So that's it for gas rifle. Now, let's talk about pistols. in this case, is a CO2 pistol. So we have our M17, and we're just gonna do the same thing again. So easy, you're gonna take out the slide. Whatever slide system you have, it's usually the slide release around there, and you just take off the slide like this, and you have your spring guide, remove your spring guide, remove the actual outer barrel, and then you should be good to go like that. Now the process is basically the same. So let me just get some paper towel because I ran out. There's a BB in here, so we're actually gonna get rid of that. And again, we're gonna get a little tissue like so, and we're going to loop it through like so, like this, and go this way and be very careful. Make sure, because I don't want to readjust this hop because I'm too lazy. But in this case, I can actually look at it. I can see where I actually am. So make sure that's nice. Be gentle around the hop. If you do end up touching it, spin, 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 spin. You can see that this one was quite dirty as well. And again, you do that multiple times until you're done. In this case, silicone spray goes on rubber. So we're just gonna spray this O-ring around here. You can see the wear points here and the wear points here. This part's not too important, but you can lube it up. But first we have to clean it. So clean this part, clean the hop unit, clean around the chamber, like so, and the actual outer barrel. There was some dirt on there, so it wasn't too bad. Anyways, so after that, you can kind of lube up the parts again. So this part here, a little bit, there's the hop unit. It's got a little wear and tear there. Basically, wherever metal touches metal, kind of give it a little bit much, just a little bit. Just a little bit. You don't have to like be super crazy with it. Again, if you put too much, it's gonna start to get very, very dirty from other debris and stuff. So then again, you just inspect it, make sure everything's working okay. Yeah, it looks like it's fine. And now you'll go onto your slide. So slide, I recently cleaned it, but I did use it a couple times last night. Again, points of contact, any of these debris areas, like this, and the nozzle. As you can see here, it's kind of greased up, like that. And just metal frames and stuff like that. So clean that up, and you can see that it's nice and dry, like your ex-wife, right? So what you can do is spray this down, plastic. Always appreciate some spray. And then we're gonna get our silicone grease. Spray those point of contacts again. The frame here. Careful not to cut yourself because it can be unexpectedly sharp, right? It's gonna go like that. See, very easy, not an inconvenience at all, and everything should be moving pretty good. I think in this case, I might put a little bit of silicone grease because that's what it had originally. Just make sure it's nice and lubed. That nozzle needs to move to be able to feed BBs really easily, so be a little bit generous with that one. Then we have our trigger group on the lower frame. So this one, I'm not gonna take out the trigger group, I don't need to. But again, clean out basically every part you can. Metal part here. See, it's very easy, very simple, right? And just make sure all those metal points of contact are getting that lube. Metal on metal. So metal uses grease, silicone's on rubber, and plastic, and some other exceptions here and there. Usually light coats of silicone, just in general, if you just want to do like on the game day, you just want to like kind of lube up your gun real quick, you can just throw some silicone spray as a temporary fix. But when you're actually down in the shop and maintaining your guns and all that stuff, then you want to use this. So a little bit in the trigger group, make sure that works. See, there's actually some debris on there. Another yellow spray, and then disengage the hammer again. That's it. Spring guide you can do, it's optional. First give it a young wipe. Then just basically a young spray. And that's basically it. So this slide is basically ready to go, nice and clean. So throw the unit back in, like this. Spring guide, like so. Sometimes it's harder on different kinds of airsoft toys, but in general, this is it. Slide that on, like so. And again, you're gonna wanna run some gas through it. Now, CO2 magazines are a little bit different because they actually need to be emptied out. Unlike green gas, where you have to kind of keep some gas in a magazine, CO2 magazines, they will eventually dry out the seals. So basically, you have to purge this mag. But first, we're gonna get some gas through it, as usual. So make sure that's clear. It is clear. And now it has some gas running through it, so that's very nice. So for CO2 magazines, you want to purge the magazine and make sure it's good to go. You could also spray the little valve here once you purge it. And also this part here, sorry, this part here and a little bit of the gas valve in there. And that's basically it. And that's it. So this gun is now ready and maintained. So that is basically it, guys. This is what you have to do whenever you play airsoft with a gas blowback rifle. You gotta make sure they're clean and maintained. It's probably the most fun part, to be honest, because you know that it's gonna perform well. And it's kind of fun for people who like to fidget with stuff. So make sure you maintain your rifles. They'll do well, and keep them up to shape. And if you ever need to clean your rifle again, or your pistol, save this video, and remember me, Ian McCullen, I forgot weapons. I'm also a little sick, I think, so that's why I'm a little bit low energy today. But guys, thanks so much for watching. If you want to see airsoft videos with a gas blowback, click this video right here, and we'll see you guys next time.